They're both Bernardo Vega and Jesus Colon are cigar makers. So, they come from the tradition of the cigar factories and reading in the cigar factories. They talk about in their writings, both of them write of this experience, and they talk about how as workers in the cigar factories, when the reader got up to read, it was as if you were in a university. You could hear a pin drop, because the custom was in Spanish-owned factories, and some people say that it also happened in Jewish factories, but I haven't really come across it. That the custom of the reading in the cigar factories, in a sense, enabled that class of workers to become very knowledgeable about life. It was like getting a university education. And the custom was that the reader who would be paid, who came from among the workers themselves, which gives you an indication that these men and women who were working in cigar factories know how to read and write. The reader, who would come from the ranks of the workers, would be paid by the workers, so that the workers would donate 5 cents, 10 cents out of their weekly wages, so that the person who was going to be reading wouldn't lose out on the wages that he would be making if he was sitting at his seat making cigars. And they had the custom. You had to be very, very dramatic. I could see Luisa Capetillo reading in the cigar factories very, very easily, because she was an actress. She performed. She wrote plays and she performed in them. And so I could see her dressed in her pants and in her suit jacket, because she dressed as a man, sitting up in one of those high chairs and then presenting her readings to the workers. They would spend part of the morning reading newspapers and bringing the workers up to date on factual information, so that the workers in Spanish-owned factories in New York City were as in tune to the plight of the working class all over the world. They knew about the Haymarket strike, they knew about what was happening in the railroads, they knew what was happening in Europe. They saw themselves as part of that working class, of that social, and many of them were socialists as a result. That was the political ideology that was really prevalent among the tobacco workers. So in the afternoon, or they would usually read something from literary works, and the works that they chose to read from were always works that dealt with social justice. Emile Zola, they would read Dostoevsky. They would read novels and literature, Dickens, that would really highlight the plight of the worker and the conditions of the working class.